If you want to know why you're not making your salary as a nurse, stay tuned to this next episode. Hello, fellow nurse entrepreneurs. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have the flexibility, pretty much have their freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Hey. And so I'm super excited because I've got one of my favorite clients today. Her name is Jameisha Rogers, and we're going to talk to her. So before we get started, I ask that you like, comment, share. We really want you to come in and talk about what the reason why nurses are not making the salary that they desire. So Jameisha, tell the people who you are in your own words.
Hey everybody, I'm just going to start by saying favorite couple. Okay, let's just start there. But for those that may not be familiar with me, my name is Jameisha Rogers. I'm the CEO and founder of the Nephrology Nurse Leadership Network, where we have expertise in dialysis care, long-term care, and skilled nursing, and we work with these different organizations across the country to level up and make sure that compliance and education are in place for staff to get supported and patients to get really good care. We also work with attorneys all around the country as well in medical malpractice matters and those same spaces. So really excited to be here with Dr. V and talk to you about how you can transform your expertise.
I love it. Now, we can go back to the story of Jameisha, but one of the things that I want to talk about. So just take a look back, okay, at where you came from. So what is the moment that you realize that your income ceiling wasn't about your skill or your effort, but it was because of the role that you were in?
I want to say around 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I was a mid-level manager. I was an administrator with a dialysis company. And I've been in that role for about 5 years at that point, approximately. And I was working really hard. And I recognized that as hard as I was working, my salary did not match what I was doing. It didn't. I knew I wanted to do something different. I just didn't know how that looked.
Do you think that, so we got a conference that's coming up. Tell me some of the things that you feel like the conference offers for people who are kind of in the same place that you are.
When I think about where I was then and where I am now, because I didn't know my capacity, I didn't know what was out there for a nurse in my shoes. I believe that the conference is valuable because you're going to find the like minds. You're going to find the like minds that are also wanting to expand. Some may not know what that looks like, but there's some in the room, quite a few in the room, that know what it feels like, know what it looks like, and have started to pave the way and transform from that space. And so I think it's really important for someone that wants to branch out and do something different. Just like a flower, you got to be in the right environment, or a plant. That's the place to be. where you're going to be surrounded.
So I love how you say in the right environment. So a little bit, some people know your story, but some people don't. Okay. And so when you first started, you came to the community, you became a part of the inner circle, and you were not in the right environment outside of the inner circle. And so tell me, what was the comment of a person who you admired?
You know, I'll never forget it, but it was a very pivotal moment because I was so excited about what I was doing, and I'm still excited about what I'm doing. And I wanted to share that. I'm the type of person, when I am experiencing something good, I want everybody to have that experience. So I was sharing my business coaching venture with an individual that I highly respected. And we had not talked in a while, and I wanted them to catch up. We were catching up. I was a travel nurse at the time. And I was telling them all about my investment and my coaching and my business idea. And the person let me get all of it out. And at the end of me telling the information, they said, "You need to give it up. Nobody's going to buy that. Dialysis companies are not going to need to work with somebody like you because they already have their own thing, Jameisha. They don't need a nurse from the outside. So you need to scrap your idea because you're going to waste your time."
Mhm.
That's what I was told.
And what happened a week later?
Staying true to the instructions that I received from my coach, I continued to push forward. Now, those words did sting, but they did not deter me from continuing. And by the following week that I returned back to that coaching call, I had my first six-figure client.
And I think that sometimes I think that we think, because I've always said that it's a crab in the barrel type of mentality, but I almost think that it's also that people are trying to help you to avoid hurt, that they don't even understand the expansiveness of the things that you can do within healthcare. Like, they don't have a clue. And until you throw it up against the wall, you don't either. Right. And that's how business is. Like, you got to throw it up against the wall and see if it works. And you threw it up against the wall, but it was because of the environment in which you were in, the inner circle. So tell me how the inner circle has just really changed your life.
So being in the inner circle now is getting ready to be 5 years. In
Mhm.
2025, it will be 5 years. And it's empowering. And it's empowering and it's enlightening because life in itself is not always easy.
Mhm.
And then when you are doing things that are outside of the box, okay, that's not easy either, especially when you may be doing it in a space where what you're doing may be new. The people around you may not be familiar with it. And so the support that you need may not be present. And so having that inner circle, having those other ladies that were also throwing their ideas against the wall, exploring their own potential, leveraging their expertise, we were doing it together. Even though we were doing different things, we were still together and we understood what it means to be a working nurse, what it means to be a mother, what it means to be a grandmother. Some of us are grandparents, aunties, caregivers to our parents, whatever the case may be, all while trying to pursue this particular dream. And so the value of the inner circle was that week over week, I would be infused with the courage that I had inside, but it wouldn't die down because I kept showing up and the other ladies in the group kept showing up and we keep showing up. And so that's the power of the circle. You get the infusion.
I
You
love it.
get to carry on.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, tell me, what did that look like when you decided, okay, I'm going to invest in myself? Okay. When you decided that, what did that look like? Like, where were you at mentally, physically, emotionally? Like, where were you at that time?
Mentally, I was sound because I had left a toxic environment.
Mm,
Emotionally, I was frazzled.
mm.
I was depleted and I was drained because I had transitioned from a position that was very demanding. And I was a travel nurse at that time. I thought traveling was going to save the day.
Hmm.
I thought that was going to be the ticket because so many nurses were saying that that liberated them. It didn't liberate me from my problem, but it opened my eyes to to the possibilities that I had. And so it put me down a new path.
And you decided that you were going, so you probably could have went full time or, stop your regular job long before you really did. What was that catalyst look like? What did that look like?
So I traveled for a while and I just wanted to make sure, when we trade time for money, you think different. You always want to have that safety net. And I felt like I needed it. But in reality, I had already had everything in place for quite some time and I could have left. But when I decided to leave and just focus on my business, it was the right time for me. And I felt comfortable in doing so because of the framework that I had been able to establish from the things I learned in the program. So it was a smooth transition, but anyone that wants to do that, you just have to look at your own circumstances and do what works for you. It may be more gradual for some.
Now we're going to transition, talk a little bit about the conference. When you think about the conference, like when people are on the cusp of thinking about, well, whether I should go, what should I not, tell them some of the benefits of being in the room.
Well, conferences, some people may think, oh, a conference. If you have not been to a Millionaire CEO conference, you need to come, okay? Because it's not just people talking at you. It's an energy. It's something that envelops you when you walk in. It's very high energy. It's very intentional and nurturing. It's a space where you're allowed to think and get, like, I walk away with so much stuff even now.
Mm,
It's an environment that no matter where you are in your business journey, even if you just have an idea, you're going to walk away with something to work with.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now tell me, like, kind of what does your life look like now as opposed to what it was at that time?
So when I was an administrator in kidney care, if you're a nurse administrator, depending on the area you live in, your life can be very busy because if you don't have nurses, run your facility, open those doors and things like that. If you don't have a clinical manager, so on and so forth, you may be doing 2 and 3 roles within one. And I found myself doing that a lot. And I couldn't have specific time with my family. I could be home sitting down having dinner or planning to wake up and have breakfast, and I may have to jump up and go open a unit.
Mm,
Okay, or jump up and have to tend to a problem, which that happens in business too, but it was no balance. It was no give or take. It was a constant pull. But now I have more control over what I do with my time. And it creates a sense of peace where I'm not working at a very high level of anxiety all the time. That is damaging to your body. It throws you
mm.
to think. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I was no longer in that environment and I was able to see the state that I was in. And so it's just been very peaceful now. I spend a lot of time with my family. We eat meals together. Um, we spend quality time together. My clients, if they need something, it's not such high level anxiety. It's a very smooth transition most often because we have systems in place to handle problems. So I feel a sense of peace within myself because I'm a human being and I'm able to take care of myself and not always operate in a frantic mode. And I was doing that for years. And it took a toll on me that it took more years to unravel.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. How you have transitioned to where you are now. Now we're going to go to commercial break and we'll be right back.
Stop renewing your license just to stay broke. Every renewal season, nurses pay fees, take classes, and check boxes, but never build wealth. That license you're renewing every 2 years, it's a gold mine if you stop using it the old way. At the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference, you'll learn how to leverage that same license to build your own business, to coach, to consult, and to create offers that bring freedom, not fatigue. And yes, you'll still earn CEUs. Comment conference below and we'll send you the details.
Good. So tell me, what are some of the things that your family noticed once you fully stepped in your CEO role? What are some of the things that they said to you?
Mom, my children, they're adults, but Mom, you're so calm. You're calmer. My husband, the fact that we get to be together more and uninterrupted, dinner and things like that, that's good. Being present for my grandchildren, that right there. I'll tell you something. I don't play about my grandbabies. I love those babies. And just to be able to be available for them without having permission, it's priceless. And I would absolutely not ever trade that for anything.
I love it. Now tell me a little bit about your pricing. Like when you stepped into your CEO space, right? How did that affect, like, how did your pricing, like comparatively, like if you had to compare what you used to think what your pricing would have looked like and what your pricing looks like now, and how did you determine, like, how did the confidence come back about to be able to price structure in the way in which you do?
So at first it was a little,
because I want to preface this. I'm sorry. I want to preface this by saying that your price structure is such that, number one, you get the value, but number two, you're able to not work for anyone else, right? So how were you able to price structure in this way and not like have the confidence to do that, I should say?
So the way that I structure the pricing, it doesn't just benefit me, it benefits the client because they're not getting price charged for every little line item, right? Mm-hmm. They're getting a package deal with very intensive and focused services that they need for their specific problem. And so what that has done, it allows me to service the client at a very high level in a very detailed way according to their own needs, where I'm not exhausting myself. I'm not spending an extensive amount of time to create change for my client in order to receive that money. And it's like bundles. I found that the bundling method is very valuable to clients because they can see right off the top what they're getting and they can control their budget that way. And I also know what I'm getting, and it's no gray area. And that's allowed me to help multiple clients, and it's allowed me to be able to project my earnings and also be in a space where I don't work for anyone full time. I don't, because I know where my money's coming from and how it's coming in.
So let me ask you something. There's a couple of questions. These are going to be a little bit of a hard question. So one is that it's the outcome that you provide for your client, right? And yeah. So the outcome, you got a dialysis unit or a dialysis company that you work for now. That's almost like a local dialysis company, correct?
So they do dialysis within nursing homes.
Gotcha.
They're their own company, and they have multiple facilities that they manage and run that they own that are inside nursing homes. And I do compliance and education for that client. And then with the nursing homes, I work with some individual nursing homes that I do education and compliance for them that is outside of dialysis.
So you're, instead of, I don't think I knew this. So instead of having their own facility, they have a facility much like the hospital inside the skilled nursing facility, correct? Ah,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
or they support the skilled nursing facilities, and then I support the client.
Okay. And so now, as far as outcomes, what have your outcomes been as it relates to the dialysis companies? Like, where were they at before? Where are they at now? What does that look like for them?
It's my clients always have good feedback from me. They're very pleased with my ability to jump in and help them in specific areas, because each facility is different. And so in some of our audits, we're due for audits again, but in some of our audits, at the last go round, some of those facilities maybe got 2 or 3 deficiencies. That is huge for a dialysis company. And some of the deficiencies may not even have been on the floor. They, with direct care staff, it just may have been some minor things that the facility needed to fix. But 2 and 3, for me, if it's no deficiencies, is great. We want to be in an environment where we get no deficiencies. But the fewer deficiencies that an organization gets, it speaks to their ability to provide quality care. And so having clients with multiple facilities that are getting 5 or less deficiencies really feels good, because we know that if we can get 5 or less this time, we can keep working out the kinks and whatever issues that are going on to work toward that goal of getting 0 deficiencies, so that we are providing that quality care to all clients that they deserve. All people deserve that access to healthcare where they're getting the best care.
Now, let me ask you this. So if you had to just overall, like, describe the amount of money that you probably have saved them, give us a roundabout number.
So if you get deficiencies in a dialysis unit, that could be 2% or more
Of
of
your income?
not from my income, of their. If
Overall gross?
you get certain deficiencies, you can get penalized by Medicare, and they could lose money from those penalties. They could even lose their ability to operate those facilities. So if I could gauge it, that is a very good question. But probably hundreds of thousands of dollars have been saved by decreasing deficiencies.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, now this one is a little bit of a harder question, and it's simply because what the deal is that, because I think that there is this, I don't know, taboo-ness, okay, around legal nurse consulting, right? And that's because you are basically evaluating the documents. Now, I don't have a taboo-ness around it because of what I believe. I believe that if you're wrong, you're wrong at the end of the day. However, there is this taboo-ness around legal nurse consulting, and how nurses sometimes think, because they're like, well, she didn't have to say that about, you know what I'm saying? So they have this, they think that you should not be the one who is evaluating. I don't know who they think should be the one that's evaluating your nursing care. However, you know, how do you, how would you ever, how do you navigate that? Because I think there's this mindset that you shouldn't do it because it's almost like you're unloyal to the nursing community, right? So tell me how you mitigate that in your mind so that it changes the mindset of the person who is looking to start.
That's a very good question. And I have heard that before, from individuals that say, you know what, I wouldn't be able to do that because that's kind of a betrayal. But as a nurse, as a human being, I'm a human being first, right? And I care about other human beings. It does not matter your background. None of those things matter. I care about people, period. My neighbors, my community, people, wherever I am at. And so I'm not looking to judge anyone. I'm not a judge. When a nurse consultant is evaluating records, we're not making anything up, or we should not be making anything up. The records speak
For themselves.
for themselves. Whatever is there is there. Whatever is not there is not there. I would never add anything or take anything away from the records. And so that is just my mentality. The records speak. I'm interpreting the records for an individual that may not understand what that record is saying regarding nursing care that should have been done, or that maybe was done but was not communicated well, or whatever the case may be. But under no circumstances do I feel like I'm judging another nurse, or do I look negatively at anyone when I'm in that space. It's not my job to do that. My job is to interpret the records and have those things there listed. And so I don't allow that to creep into my mind, because I know the purpose for me being in that space, and is to help people. Because at the end of the day, even when something goes wrong, something good can come out of it. It's a lesson, and that those lessons can be used as education to help other people to not make the same mistakes again and again and again, which could cause harm to other people. Or if the organization did something right, then that's an opportunity to show again, hey, this is something that can be done to help people. So at no time do I look at it like I'm judging another nurse, or I'm being disloyal. I'm loyal to being a human being, and I want, if I'm supporting someone in that matter, I want the records to be reflected, and that information to be made known to the parties that need to hear it.
You know what? I think that's a great point, because at the end of the day, the reality is that if your mother or your father or your son or your daughter or yourself, for that matter, your spouse was in that same facility, you would want that facility to be able to give the appropriate care for the level of services that they are required to have. And many times, if we don't mitigate that, then what happens is it runs rampant, and people just do whatever they want to do. It's unreal. So I love your answer, because you can't. And so if you are a legal nurse consultant out there, don't let that creep into your mind, because I think that what happens is there is this limited mindset of, I can't do that because first of all, the people that are commenting, or the people that are saying this, number one, they ain't got, 9 times out of 10, they don't have business. Number two, okay, 9 times out of 10, they are keyboard pirates, and they don't have the ability to be able to tell you what to do in those moments. So I love that. Now, if there was a nurse that was listening now and feels stuck financially but overworked, what is the first role shift that they need to make before they can see some money flowing?
You said first role shift?
Like what is the first thing that they need to do in order to ensure that they are moving towards having their own business and growing their clientele?
Well, if you're not in the space and you're thinking about it, the first thing that you have to do is think about your passions. What is it that you're good at? What is it that you like? Because if you're doing something that you like, it's not really a job. It's naturally coming from the heart. And I love education, and compliance is a big deal to me. So that was a very natural space to pivot into, because it was something that I was doing every day, whether I got paid for it or not. I was a charge nurse at first. I didn't get paid to educate, but that's part of the role of a nurse, and it just continued to grow. So think about what you like, think about where your passions are, and see if that's something that you can shape and hone. And if you can do it within the confines of being a nurse, then you can have something to work with. But it may be something outside of nursing, and that's certainly okay as well. But it requires you to brainstorm. You have to look within and see where you really want to go first.
I love it. And I love, the fact that you said, what are you passionate about? I had a client today, and we were talking, and, every now and then we'll work out with each other. And she said to me, what she said was, I feel like that whenever we're working out, that that's your personal time. I said, the number one thing that I want to do in life, outside of loving my children, my God and my family and my husband. I said, outside of that, I said, is to be very intentional about helping nurses grow their business. I said, that's the number one thing. I said, so it doesn't feel like work to me. It just feels like it's okay. Like one of the young ladies that I work out with, one of the things that she said to me, she said, I have grown so much more since we've been walking on the treadmill beside each other. Right? Because I'm always talking about how to make more money, how to grow your business, how to, whatever you need to do, right? You grow it. So I've got some rapid fire questions for you. Are you good? You ready?
I'm ready.
What has been the most rewarding thing about nursing?
About nursing, just the lives that I've been able to touch, the people that I've been able to work with, and the roles that I've been able to, just the experiences. I never thought as a nurse that I would be doing some of the things that I'm doing now, but it's just rewarding to be in the space and be able to help people, even if I'm doing that per diem to keep up my skills and handing a resident a cup of water, or in a courtroom doing an expert testimony, or in a clinic doing some education. No matter what I'm doing, I'm grateful.
I love it. What is the most common misconception about nursing?
Now that I'm gonna have to think about, but I think one misconception about nursing is that we have to do a traditional role. And
That.
nursing is so expansive and unique, and it's an art. And art looks different because nobody paints the same, nobody creates the same. And because of that, nursing is different. And I think the more that nurses are looked at with a wider view and a wider range, people will start to see the value in working with nurse consultants and coaches outside of traditional roles, because we have so much to offer, especially after we get experience under our belts and we are navigating the nursing road and the leadership spaces. We have so much to offer.
I love it. Now, what are you reading now? Material.
Oh, I'm reading a couple of things.
Me too.
I'm doing some. They're all on Audible. They're all on Audible, and I'm reading like 3 things at one time. I'm back to reading. I'm doing a reread of Bamboozled by Jesus.
Ah, that's so good.
I'm doing a reread of that, and I have some new ones that I just downloaded this week for my credits.
I love it. Now, what are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned in business?
The biggest lesson that I learned is that confidence. If you're not confident, and I'm not talking about overconfidence or cockiness, but just confidence in that you can deliver. Because if you're confident that you can deliver and you're showing up and you're being sound, people can feel that. They know that it's genuine. They know it's real. And you can build real valuable connections when you show up in integrity and transparency. And it goes a very long way.
I love that. I love that. Now, who is a person, living or dead, that you want to have a conversation with?
Well, a person that's passed away, I want to talk to my father. Because he's the first person to put a book in my hand. We had library cards. I had a library card at 2. So the value of reading, and the value of, he would always say, wherever your mind takes you, you can go. And I recognize that I don't have any limitations, because if I think it, then I can do it. And I would love to talk to him and tell him how true that was, how real and valuable those lessons that he shared with me were to this day.
I love it. I love it. Kudos to daddy. Kudos. Now, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, wow. I have a couple of movies. These are some rapid fire questions. mama had to come back to that one.
How do you define success?
Success is when you reach for a goal, you achieve that goal, and you're fulfilled.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Now, where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn predominantly under Jameisha Nicole Rogers. I'm right there. Kidney care and long-term care geriatric nurse expert. And you can also find me on Facebook, IG, and TikTok, same name.
Sweet. And I just want y'all to be very clear. Jameisha did not have a business at all when she came into the program. And now she's able to do what she wants to do. So I ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment, everything, all the things. Jameisha's amazing. She has just, her thing is execution. She has always executed. You tell her to do something, she executes on it. And that is, to me, one of the reasons why she is highly successful. So Jameisha, thank you for coming on. Come to the Millionaire Nurse CEO conference, where it's going to be absolutely amazing. Jameisha's going to be one of the speakers. She's going to be talking about B2B contracts, which is business to business contracts. And you want to know how to do that, because that can help you a lot. You ladies and gentlemen, have an amazing rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.